All right, welcome to the Amp Up the 88 live video chat powered by Amp Energy, where each week we host a live video chat with a member of the 88 team, and you, the fans, get to ask the questions. So if you haven't done so already, log in and start submitting your questions. This week we're chatting with Mark Jacobs. He is the jack man for the 88 team. But before we begin, I'm sure you realize I'm new at this. This is my first time, and I'm Miss Sprint Cup Page. You see me in Victory Lane smiling all the time, getting sprayed with whatever's in hand. So I'm so excited to be here. Amp Energy has invited me to join, and we had our little amp to wake us up this morning, and we're going to get started. So how are you doing today?
Really good. Very excited to be here, and looking forward to doing this, and really excited.
All right. Well, what you got over there? Is that your amp? Is that your favorite kind?
Yeah. Like the sugar-free. Lightning lemonade. We normally do one after the national anthem, right after the national anthem before the race starts.
Gets you pumped up, ready to go.
Me and the guys do one down and get things going.
All righty. Well, our first question is going to come from Dale Jr. Fan 50. He wants to know, what is your favorite track to go to?
Actually, I have two. Really love this weekend coming up. Dover has always been one of my favorites. For us, we're really close to the track. It's right up in your face, all the action, a ton of speed. And always love a night race, Richmond is for a night race. But Richmond and Dover are two that I always look forward to, get together there twice. But and for this weekend, it's Dover is definitely, far as going to view and see, it's definitely one you'd want to go view.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I need to get there. I hate I'm missing it. Well, we'll go to the next question. Seth101 wants to know, what are your responsibilities during the race?
During the race, actually, when the race is going on, it's there's a ton of other stuff besides just going over the wall and jacking the car. That's once the car comes in to do the stop, responsible for getting the car up on the right side, making sure all the tires get back to the wall. And making sure that car cannot leave. It's my responsibility to make sure that car is full of fuel, which you get a signal from the gas guys to make sure it's full. You make sure all the lug nuts are on, front and rear. So it's basically you check off on everything before that car leaves. Once the car's out there on the track, everybody's responsible too. So while the race is going on and you have a long 40-lap run, it's not like everybody's just sitting around waiting. There's the carriers or getting the tires ready to come up. My little thing is as soon as the car leaves, I got to sweep the stall. There's lots of brake dust after it stops over. The lug nuts are laying everywhere. A car pitted in front of you or behind you could come in and leave some trash or debris, so I'm kind of responsible for keeping a clean work area. Making sure after each stop everybody's responsible for checking their equipment. Something could have been on the jack, or checking your fluid levels and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on to prepare, getting ready for the next stop.
All right. Well, I noticed you're kind of a big guy. You told us he played college football at Kentucky, right?
Right.
Okay. I went to a shop once. They let me try to jack the car up, and I unsuccessfully tried about probably 50 times. They told me it was technique, it didn't matter about your size, but I don't believe it. That's my excuse. Is it, do you have to be a bigger, muscular guy?
I think not so much bigger, muscular. I think maybe taller, as far as leverage-wise and stuff. But I think a lot of it is technique, and a lot of it's momentum too, like just never stop motion. It's keeping fluid motion the whole time. And another thing is it's practice, and it's this is my 11th year, and I still make mistakes or struggle, or you get in a bad time to where you gotta regroup and get back to basics. And it's kind of like the first day, it's like, hey, I'm just going to go out and work on just doing one thing. But I think maybe weight wise it's a little bit, but there's guys throughout racing that's there could be under 200 pounds or over 250, but a lot of it's technique and leverage.
I'm sticking with the weight thing.
Right.
Well, going on that, Dale Jr. Fan 50, he wants to know, what part of physical training do you like and dislike most?
The biggest thing for me, the one thing I love about Hendrick Motorsports is in our weight facility is Mark Morrison runs our physical department, and what I really love about it is they'll look at everybody individual wise to say, okay, you're a jack man, you're this age, this body weight, hey, we're going to work on this. It's more critical for you at your weight and your age, we're going to work on footwork. For you, so let's go out here and work on this. Now you're a little bit younger, we need to gain some weight, something like that. We're gonna have you just work on, lifting weights and, stuff like that. But the funnest thing I like working on and work on really hard in the off season is do a lot of quick feet drills, a lot of agility, and running hills and stuff like that. Because I know for us, keeping up with these changers as fast as they have gotten and jumping over hoses and lug nuts, that the biggest thing for me is going to keep the feet moving quickly instead of worried about as far as the lifting weight thing.
Yeah, y'all have to just run around. It looks like you're running sideways in some still shots that I've seen. I can't imagine. Sammy 24 wants to know, what's your favorite part of your job as the Jackman for the 88 team?
The most enjoyment that I get is after a stop or whatever is, I feel like my part of the way I help out the most on a stop is helping everybody else around me. As far as the changers, a lot of the changers like the car to go up slow so they can hit the lug nut fast. If you get the car high enough in the air, it's easier for the carriers to put the tires on, and for the guys never to wait for you. My biggest enjoyment at the end of like a weekend where we come in for our Tuesday morning meetings and watch film and stuff is to be like, it's almost to be like, hey man, dude, you really helped me out on that, or hey, this went really good, or I get the satisfaction of the other guys coming to say, hey, you helped me out on this, or hey, you saved me on that, and that's payment enough.
Yeah, y'all seem to be a close team, always there for each other.
Right.
I've noticed that.
That's the one thing about this group is I've been on some other teams and stuff like that where times are bad or this and that, and people are at each other, or times are even good, and you can be at each other's throats. And with this group, just from Jason and Chris and Aaron, it's just like last week, and we all just get along so good. We went up early to Loudon. That evening, before the race, we're watching football, and just everybody gets along, and everyone's on the same page, and it makes your job so much easier, not having to deal with some of the other little stuff. Just everybody's just, it's always, no matter how bad or whatever, just everyone's laughing, having a good time, staying loose, and that's a big deal.
Good. I'm sure we can all relate to that. Dale Jr. Fan 50 wants to know, have you ever been injured during a pit stop?
Not actually during a race, but I actually tore a bicep a couple of years ago.
Oh, is that your scar?
For the pit crew challenge, and getting ready for that and warming up, and actually got hurt doing that, and that's like the only time and it was kind of a fluke accident. But there's a lot of our guys. I know Opie, our front tire carrier, he actually he's been hurt before. Like a broken leg and some other guy. So it happens a lot, and no one plans for it, or something like that. You don't think about it, but like I said, there's just so much going on.
And y'all are athletes. It's, inevitable. So you're going to eventually get an injury somehow. Always,
Everybody's
athletes.
always got some type of bump or bruise.
Yes, always. But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Sally 9 wants to know, how do you prepare for a race?
Well, preparing for a race actually starts on a Tuesday morning. Our week starts out 9:30 on Tuesdays. We have a team meeting, and we'll get in there, and the meeting starts off with is our evaluation of last weekend. Good things and bad things we can improve on, things we can get better at. Then we'll actually watch all the video. All the pit stops are taped from the race before, so we'll actually sit down there, watch those stops, look at it. And then we'll talk about, okay, we got Dover coming up this week. We'll talk about the size. We'll get down to details as far as the size of the pit box, the height of the pit wall. The last time we were there, these were the kind of adjustments we did. This is what we're going to work on. Okay, Lance gave a sheet to our pit coaches and said, hey, this is what I want to work on. This could be some possible adjustments that we're going to do. So we'll spend all Tuesday and Wednesday working on those stops down there, probably do a total of 15 to 20 stops, saying, doing these type of adjustments, working on this car coming in, crooked or, short or long, and so we'll do that. And then like tomorrow, like Thursday, is like a workout drill day, and then take Friday off, Saturday, and then travel and
get your resting day in, prepare for everything that could happen.
Exactly.
All right, Jimmy 12 wants to know, what tools do you use during the race?
Just for me, just during the race, just use the jack. I use a Brunhauser jack that's made actually here in Mooresville. It's got like a 9.5-inch lift on it. All jacks come in different sizes. And there's actually a regular size jack and a flat tire jack. So depending on what type of track you're at, you use different jacks, and they have different heights. And so that's where it comes into the bigger person. The bigger and stronger you are, you can use a heavier, a jack that can lift higher. If you're maybe a little bit small, you can use a jack that still lifts but not as high, but it comes up quicker. So there's a bunch of different, tools that you can use.
All righty. Well, Greg 18 has a question. He wants to know, what's your fondest memory while involved in racing?
There's trying to think of one.
11 years got to go through, huh?
11 years to get through. One of my fondest was wasn't actually working for Dale Jr., but it was a really cool Dale Jr. moment. It was probably back in about 2003. DEI, Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip had a really strong hold on all the super speedways. They were running really good. At the time, I was working over at Ganassi, and I think I was with Casey Mears. We actually had wrecked out. It may have been 5 laps into the Talladega race, and we were out of the race, packed up. The 8 car was caught up in the wreck as well, and we're all in the garage trying to work on our cars and get them fixed. And I remember being next to the 8 car. I was like, wow, they're on this streak of like 4 in a row, or something like that at these super speedways, and their nose was all caved in and crushed. So our car was totaled. We left, got on the airport there at Talladega, and flew back to Charlotte. And when we landed, we were walking into the airport at Charlotte, and they had the race on in the lobby, and we looked out there on the final lap, and the 8 car came for the lead. And we were all sitting there just like, you've got to be kidding me. One, we'd even think he would go back in the race, and then to see him leading and everything, we're just
why did we leave?
You're like, holy cow, I can't believe that he's gonna win the race. And that was one of those moments. I even went home and I was telling my wife, I was like, I can't believe that. What happened? So that was a pretty neat. That was a pretty cool moment.
Jill 12, she wants to know, how did you become the jackman for the 88 team?
Just really lucked out. Started talking with Mark Molden a couple, like 2 years ago, and they were moving some people around, making changes, and I've always wanted to be it's kind of like the Yankees or Cowboys, you want to be part of Hendrick Motorsports, and somewhere or the other, and you get an opportunity, to go there, and then, to be with the 88 and Dale Jr. was just another pretty cool moment. I started talking with Coach Moldens. They're going to move some people around, make some changes, and it's like the only time in my life I was like, well, if there's any opportunity, I'd love a shot, and it was probably like a 3-month process of, practicing and trying out and this and that, and it was a real intimidating, process to go through, because it's a really set group, really tight group, a championship group, and just have an opportunity to get in, and you just made the most of it, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Well, good. Son VGG wants to know, is there a regulation weight for the jack?
As far as weight-wise, all of them kind of in the same ballpark, anywhere between like 37 pounds and 39 pounds, and that's jack with a handle in it, your fluids, race ready. They probably weigh right around 38 pounds, but the biggest they actually make them, as far as the lift-wise, is they go up to like a 10-inch lift, to where one stroke on that piston will raise the plate. But like anything bigger than that, it's I probably can't even lift like a 10. I mean, you have to be a man.
You are a man. Goodness.
Man to handle that. But yeah, that's about the biggest they make as far as lift wise. But weight wise, 38 pounds.
Okay.
Is what you're looking at.
All right. Kimmy Formey, I think I said that right, wants to know, does the 88 team share any fun times with your driver?
Yeah, yeah. There's race days and and stuff like that, and doing some cutting up in good times. And he has us out. You know, there's times where he has us out for cookouts and stuff like that, and all that stuff. So there's plenty of good times and together. But when it's playtime's one thing, and then when it's at the track about you know, business and being focused is totally another.
It's a good way to have have it in your mind. Yes. Let's see. Son VGG wants to know, how do you simulate using the jack in the weight room?
Actually, we have a piece of equipment down there in the weight room. It's like a lat pull down machine, and what they've actually done is put like a jack handle in there for the stack of weights, and you can work, you know, on doing it that way. Another big thing, a lot of it's core, so you work on that, and that's something that tire changers have. There's certain little exercises and drills they work out on. Tire carriers work on a lot of hip, you know, and squats and stuff like that, and then we'll work on a lot of back and core, you know, is the best to get used to it.
Well, all this talking's making you thirsty, I see. What did you just open?
Got the new Amp Energy juice, 100% juice. And
I haven't got to try it yet.
Yeah, it's mixed berry.
Okay.
So
mixed berry flavor.
We're trying it out, something to change it up with.
I know, all this talking makes your throat dry. Well, I'm going to have to go get me one after this. Dale Jr. Fan 50 has another question. Wants to know, what is your drink of choice to stay hydrated during the race?
We'll actually start off with a lightning lemonade after the national anthem. We'll do one of the amps, and then just basically water. You know, from then on out. A lot of it's from what we've learned through at Hendrick Motorsports with a lot of the people that help us out in the weight room and stuff. A lot of the hydration process starts on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's almost like if you want to try to start on Sunday, try to start doing it's almost too late. So, but a lot of times we'll alternate throughout the week, do a Gatorade water, you know, Gatorade, you know, water, and go from there. And then Sunday, you know, amp
Body's
it up.
ready.
Amp it up before the race, and then hit some water the rest of the laps.
All right, y'all. Well, we're halfway through today's Amp Up the 88 chat, video chat powered by Amp Energy. I'm Miss Sprint Cup. I'm here with Mark Jacobs, Jackman for the 88 team, answering your questions. And so I know all my Twitter and Facebook fans out there know about this. I'm going to be mad if y'all don't submit some questions, some good ones. But right now we have another question from Son VGG. Wants to know, how much do you bench and squat? I want to know that too. Good question.
As far as heaviest weight-wise, what they do now, they don't do like a single at Hendrick. What they try to do is they don't do a single weight, like put 400 on there and do it once. What we do have a conditioning test that we have to do twice a year, and on the bench press for conditioning, you put 135 on the bar, and you have to do like a pause. Put it to your chest for like a second and then lift it. So, and you do that till failure. And I know our last conditioning test was like last month, and I got 41. And it's really hard.
41 reps?
Yeah. And you think you just want to.
Just keep going. It's hard to pause.
When you pause for a second, then you got to pause at top, your arms start burning and everything else. So 41 on that. And then as far as squat, what we don't go over a certain weight here for injury. Biggest thing on the squat is flexibility, but what we'll do is they don't really want you lifting over like 275 pounds on squats, but what they do want is good flexibility, a deep squat. But actually back when I was playing football at Kentucky, my senior year, I did like 650.
That's what was like personal best?
My personal best, and that was about 12 years ago.
It's like 5 of me.
Right. I couldn't, there's no way I could attempt it now, because the 275 is more than enough for me now. Do any of y'all's guys, when you're in the weight room, do y'all have like, do you ever like have contests with any of your other guys? Do you always win? No, between Aaron Walker, who was on last week, and then 2 of the guys from the 5-car, Bailey Walker and Rocco, it's they pretty much own the weight room, so it's pretty much whatever they want to do. And Rocco, we just got done with pit practice and weights now, and Rocco was down there slinging around like 350 pounds on the bench press, making it look easy. He's the man.
All right. Well, Dale Jr. Fan 50 has a question. If you could have one other job on the pit crew, what would you want to do?
Tire changer. They're the stars.
Yeah.
They do they've got the hardest job, but is probably the most rewarding. I don't know. You got to be really. I probably want to be a front changer because those are the ones that are always on TV and magazines. So. But no, tire changer. It's probably the toughest job, but probably the most rewarding.
Okay.
Definitely want to be a tire changer.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Bonnie L. Rastater wants to know: does Dale Jr. have a really good sense of humor? Does he ever play tricks on any of y'all?
It's funny, the sarcasm. I'm trying to think. What he said. He said something last week during the race of like during the college, but he'll just say something like at the time you wouldn't expect it the most. Like he'll say something and you can just see the relief, coming over everybody, or something like that. You'll be in an intense moment in the race, like you're running good, or something will happen. He'll just say something you could see just on our faces, right before you do a stop. Everybody's a little intense and hyped up anyways, and because you don't want to let him down, and you're out there and he's out there driving, for 30, 40 laps, and he's working his tail off and he's chasing, the same car, and it's like he's got faster lap times, just can't pass him, and when he comes up to us, you don't want to let him down. So for him to crack a joke or something like that to loosen everybody
Feel better.
up, to keep everything calm.
All right, Sun VGG has another question. Wants to know, were you a pitter before the 88 car?
Yeah, I was actually, this is my 11th year doing it, and I've been with the 88 for 2 years, 2 years now, and I've always been a jack man, and was actually with another organization for about 8 years before, coming over here.
All right, Sun VGG throwing in another question for us. Do you design your own jacks?
There's two companies that make jacks. One's out of California. It's Pit Boss. And they have their little certain styles and stuff that they have on it, and then the other companies here locally, Brunhausen Jacks out of Mooresville, and they make them. But now once we get them, there's certain little stuff that guys will customize, like maybe a handle on them, or the handle on the side, or maybe the actual jack handle itself out of the jack. Like we'll make them longer or shorter, stuff like that. But now there's two companies that make them, but none of the jacks are made in house.
Yeah.
Here at the complex.
All right, Kimmy Form wants to know: do you think the team is progressing and moving forward?
Most definitely. It's you can see it each week. You may not see it because there's so many variables that go into like a race of a wreck or a bad set of tires. But far as performance, just to have that awesome weekend as the last weekend to finish fourth, and you can just tell in the driver's voice and just the excitement. But each week is just getting better, and you gotta Lance this is his second time going back to some of the places with him, and this and that. The biggest thing I've always seen when I got into this sport is if you can keep a group together for a long time. That's the biggest thing, of not just the over-the-wall guys, but the road mechanics and engineers. If you can keep that group together and just think about it, okay, we had some success for a year. Now we're in our third year working together, and you're getting to the point where you can complete each other's sentences, and you don't have to think about things. And it's going to be getting to that point.
Okay.
I'm very excited for what's been going on.
We are excited too. Kimmy Form wants to know: do you have plans for the off season?
Yeah, a lot of the guys really look forward to Thanksgiving, Christmas. A lot of us, just the over-the-wall guys. You've got two guys from Pennsylvania. I'm from Florida. Another guy from Missouri, Idaho. So a lot of us end up going back home, recharging the batteries. But most of the work comes in the off season. A lot of times NASCAR will make rule changes as far as for pit stops, making the studs longer. So that's something we'll have to work on. But we'll take that Thanksgiving off. A lot of us go home because none of us really are from this area. Then we'll come back with recharge batteries, but that's when you get into the point where you're building cars for next year with all the new rule changes, or you're working on all the pit stop stuff. And because it's funny, like Mark Martin said, I watched him in a press conference saying the other day, what was fast last year isn't fast this year. And that goes for cars, that goes for pit stops. The studs got lengthened a year ago, and barely anybody could do a 13-second stop. Now this year, everybody's gotten used to it, and if you do a 12-second stop, you're almost getting beat out. So we worked this whole December, all January. You know, by the time, you know, it's not like hey, Homestead's done with and we start
it's
the
not
week.
really off season for y'all.
You know, it's because a lot of us can't plan Christmas because it's like you're doing practice stuff and stuff, so it's all spend Christmas here.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, Tim Garrison has a question for you. Do the pit crews from all 4 Hendrick teams work out and practice together?
The 5 and the 88, we practice together. The hardest thing as far as getting everything for the facility use, you got 4 teams in one area where, you know, to have all the tires. So the 24 and the 48 guys have, you know, all their tires glued. The biggest thing we fight is getting all the tires glued up, because you got to think, you know, we're out there doing between the 5 and the 88 today, we probably did 20 stops. Then the 24 and 48 go in the afternoon. They have to have all those tires, you know, glued. We're talking, you know, each day having 200, you know, tires glued up with lug nuts and stuff. But the best thing about what I really like about practicing together with the 5 is they'll work on something like, hey, that's working for them. Why don't we try it? Or hey, the 88's doing this really well. Or hey, on this adjustment stop. So we get out there and it just, you know,
put your minds together.
Yeah, and it's good. And then we have a thing about twice a year where the 5 and the 88, the 24 and 48 get together. We'll have like a big pit stop challenge thing. That's awesome.
That'd be fun. Y'all always win.
Yeah, the 88's undefeated.
88. Oh yeah.
But everybody's out there, and it's just a good morale thing, and you know, you push it, and there's that pressure thing, 'cause you always want to do good in front of your peers and stuff. But yeah, as far as the practice, we practice with the 5, you know, every day, and out there taping that film. All that film gets broke down and looked at, and really tedious.
Yeah. Dale Jr. Fan Forever has a question. I know you said Dover is your favorite racetrack, one of the ones you most look forward to. Well, he wants to know, are you and the team even more excited since you got a 4th place finish at New Hampshire?
Right. As far as momentum, you know, because everybody's pretty fired up right now. Drivers fired up. And they've been working, as far as the road guys have been working so hard. I think they've hit on some different things that the driver likes. Definitely, I think it's something that we can carry to all the track. Because that's the biggest thing what Lance has expressed to everybody. We may not be in the chase, but we're still fighting. Going to get a win this year. The 5's going to get a win. The 88's going to get a win. And there's a lot of good tracks coming up that he enjoys, the Kansas and Charlotte's and Talladegas. But like this, we're even more encouraged because we know we're going to finish this year out with a win and everything else. But definitely having the 5th place and then to build on this weekend, everybody's pretty fired up to go to Dover.
Good. All right. M. Hughes 28 wants to know, what is your dream job?
I mean, Jack Man
doing it.
I'm doing it. I'm living it right now. I'm working at Hendrick Motorsports.
Yep.
Jacking the car for Dale Jr. Working for Lance
Can't be any better than that.
That's I've pretty much got it made. I hate to be peaked out now.
That's how I feel too. You know, I love my job. That's my dream.
I was like, there's nowhere else I want to be, and that's one thing I told my wife and my family. I was like, I got this opportunity. It's like, there's nowhere else I want to be, because you know, you get to a point where some guys get bored somewhere or they're not performing as they want to, you know, move or something like that. I was like, there's nowhere else I want to be.
Good.
You know?
Good. All right. Bonnie L. Rastater has a question. We have 3 more questions.
Awesome.
And she wants to know, do you get the chance to work on the building of the cars too?
There's only 2 of us on the actual 88 crew. Me and actually Matt Myers, the rear tire carriers. We're outside guys. We don't work in the shop. We just do nothing but work on the car, or just work on pit stops and everything. We're 2 of the only guys, I think, at the whole complex that don't actually, you know, work on the car, you know, work full time, and that's kind of good. It makes you. One of the things I really learned from Coach Molden, he always says, be selfish in your own individual job and we'll succeed as a team. And it sounds weird since you're 5 years old or whatever, you team, and it's what it actually means. Just be so caught up in, you know, jacking the car, make sure your equipment's right, make sure everything's right, you know, be a hard worker, just focus on that. And if you just focus on that, the moment you start worrying about, hey, I'm going to help out over here, or I'm going to go work on this, and that's usually when bad things start to, you know, happen, because you're not focusing on your one task at hand.
All right. Son VGG has a good question. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
That's the one thing I really struggle with is I'm actually left-handed. I write and eat left-handed, but when I first started jacking, actually the guy I first worked for is Mike Ford, who's the crew chief at the 11 car for Denny Hamlin. Grabbed the jack and had the handle on the other side left-handed. He's like, that just looks weird. You need to, that's wrong, that ain't right.
Wrong.
Because there's no one, because it puts you on the opposite side. There is a left-handed jackman in racing. It's actually Nate Bowling who does the 11 car. Very good, does a good job, but I actually had to teach myself to jack the car right-handed, and it feels goofy at first, but figured it out. It puts you closer to the tire changer in the rear, and the way you run around is just a easier way to do it. But yeah, I'm actually left-handed, but jack the car right-handed.
All right, Bonnie L. Rastater has another question. Last question we're going to take today. Have you ever wanted to be a NASCAR driver?
I think we all have dreams of doing the driving thing and all that, but you leave it up to the professionals. About the closest I've got, we've all driven the pit practice car, and that's about as.
Were you any good?
No, I really can't fit in there. The steering wheel's dragging on my chest.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So very small. I don't know how some of those the bigger guys like a Michael Waltrip or something can even get in those cars, but.
All right, race fans, that will be it for the week. Remember to check in next week right here on ampupthe88.com. We'll be chatting with J.R. Rhodes, Junior Motorsports Director of Entertainment, and the chat host will be Steve Crisp. But we will see you the week after that. And thank you so much for taking your lunch break and your time to listen to us talk, and hope you enjoyed it.